Today, we're diving into a world where murder was for sale. This is the incredible story of an online marketplace that completely blurred the line between a dangerous scam and a deadly reality. For years, this was kind of the stuff of internet urban legend, a grim fantasy whispered about in forums. But one website didn't just whisper about it. It claimed it could actually make it happen. And this is where things get really twisted. We're looking at a completely fake service, right? An elaborate con designed to steal Bitcoin. But it still managed to produce very real, and in some cases, absolutely fatal consequences. So, to really get our heads around how a site like this could even exist, we first need to understand the technology that allows for this kind of complete anonymity. The dark web isn't a place you just stumble upon by accident. It's a collection of hidden sites you have to intentionally seek out. And that anonymity, well, it's a double-edged sword. It's a tool for privacy activists, but as we're about to see, also for criminals. What Tor does is basically make you a digital ghost. It's incredibly difficult to trace where a user is coming from or what they're doing online. And it's precisely this technology that allowed a site called Bisa Mafia to set up shop. Okay, so this is where our story really kicks off. It's when a researcher, a guy whose whole thing is debunking internet myths, comes face to face with the person promoting this one as the real deal. So you've got two main players here. On one side, there's Chris Montero. He's a system administrator by day, but a mythbuster by night. And on the other side, this mysterious figure known only as Yura, the supposed admin of the Batorsa Mafia hitman site. So after Montero posts on his blog, basically calling Beza Mafia a total scam, he gets this wild message from Yura. And the first move? A bribe. Yura actually offers to pay him for a glowing review to make the site look legit. Yeah, Montero wasn't having any of it. And as soon as he said no, that friendly tone just disappeared. The conversation went from bribery straight to blackmail, with Yura threatening to start a smear campaign. But things were about to get a lot more real. And this is where it gets insane. Yura sends Montero a video of a car being torched, a clear, terrifying threat. Right then, Montero knew he wasn't dealing with your average online scammer. This guy was willing to go to extremes, and it pushed Montero to fight back. So Montero decides the only way to really blow the lid off this thing is to go on the offensive. He had to get inside the site himself and see what was really going on. And you won't believe how he did it. He found this super simple, almost dumb security flaw. By literally just changing a number in a URL, he suddenly had access to every single private message on the platform. He got the keys to the kingdom, and he downloaded absolutely everything. What he found confirmed his suspicions. Yep, Besa Mafia was a total scam. Yura never sent any hitmen. But he also found something way, way worse. A database filled with the names and details of real people that paying customers wanted dead. He had found a kill list. So here's the big question, right? How does a fake hitman service lead to a real murder? Well, this is where the story takes an absolutely tragic turn, with the case of a woman named Amy Allwine. It turns out a user on the site, who we now know was Amy's own husband, Stephen Allwine, had put in an order. But when the fake hitman he paid for never showed up, he got tired of waiting and decided to do it himself. And you can see from this timeline just how tragic this all was. The FBI even gave Amy a vague warning, but the threat just wasn't fully understood. This case proved without a doubt that even if the website was a fraud, the intent of its users was absolutely deadly serious. So after Amy Allwine's murder, you can imagine Montero is frantically trying to get law enforcement to act on this kill list to stop another tragedy, but the path to justice, it took some bizarre and really frustrating turns. You are not going to believe this. In a crazy twist, Yura flips the script. He launches this whole misinformation campaign, creating fake emails and sites to frame Montero as the guy running the whole operation. And for a while, it actually worked. Montero was arrested by the UK's National Crime Agency. Eventually, though, authorities around the world started to listen. And that data Montero had scraped, it led to a massive wave of arrests. We're talking more than 34 of the site's customers convicted, over 180 years of combined prison time, all because he got inside that database. And then, finally, the big break. Acting on a request from the US, Romanian authorities raid a compound and arrest 5 men. And they believed that among them was Yura himself, the mastermind who had scammed people out of more than €500,000. So you'd think that's the end of the story, right? Scammers caught, justice served. Well, not exactly. In fact, their arrest kind of opened up a whole new can of worms and revealed just how deep this danger really goes. And this is the real problem we're left with. That original kill list with thousands of names on it, it's still out there. And because this is all online and borderless, it's incredibly hard for police to get ahead of it. And maybe the scariest part? Bessa Mafia proved this is a profitable business model for other scammers. And yep, the cycle is already starting again. A reporter recently logged onto a new copycat site, inquired about a hit, and got a price, 15 grand, within minutes. It just shows how fast these dangerous operations can pop right back up under a new name. And that really brings us back to Chris Montera's haunting question. For the scammers, this was just a business. But for the thousands of people whose names are still sitting on that list, the threat that someone paid good money to make real is still very much out there, unheard and unresolved.